How's it going? I love Little Nightmares, especially the second one. It's a perfect blend of platforming, puzzle solving and horror with a phenomenal art direction and a story that keeps you guessing. But after Little Nightmares 2, Tarsier Studios packed their bags and went to work on different IPs, leaving the future of the series up in the air for a while. But in 2023, Little Nightmares 3 was announced with Supermassive Games developing it this time. And to be fair, on paper, this was a perfect studio to work on the game. They have Little Big Planet and Until Dawn on their CV. This wasn't a team that was clueless about good platformers or horrors. But video games aren't made on paper, are they? I'm not saying Little Nightmares 3 is a bad game, far from it, but it is nowhere near as good as the first two entries. This time we follow two new characters, Lo and Alone. Now we did follow two characters in the last game as well, but while 6 served as a deuteragonist and wasn't playable, this time we can choose who we want to control, because Supermassive Games brought in multiplayer to this entry, which actually is a cool addition to the series, except for the fact that there's no couch co-op. Right. Yeah, just ignore how many people loved it in games like It Takes Two and force your fans to play the multiplayer online only. Nice one, lads. Now luckily you don't need multiplayer to play this. The other character will just be controlled by an AI if you're by yourself, which is great for me because not even my own mother likes me. Except now, you only do 50% of the puzzle because the game was clearly designed with multiplayer in mind. Yeah, in the second game 6 might help you with something here and there, but every puzzle was designed with you in mind. Here though, sometimes I was literally just standing around and waiting while the AI did the puzzle for me, which just ruins the engagement. It's not like this problem couldn't be avoided either. Supermassive Games could have just copied the Lego games that let you switch between the characters when solving a puzzle, and then boom, I don't have to wait around for the AI to do the rest of the puzzle for me. The idea of having both single and multiplayer in Little Nightmares is great, but I don't think Supermassive Games went about it in the best way possible, especially with no couch co-op. I can't believe they completely ignored that as an option. So yeah, anyways, I played this by myself because I have no friends that are willing to hop on a separate console for this game. Even if I was offered the chance to do the whole puzzle rather than waiting for the AI to finish it for me, I felt like they were very bog standard compared to what we got in the previous entries. Like in the first chapter, all you really do is move things around, break walls and shoot at buttons. It was nothing that really demanded your brain to think. Other than the last chapter, there was no moment where I was like, oh, wow, that was actually a really cool puzzle mechanic. Where Little Nightmares 2 made you feel smart when you solved a puzzle, Little Nightmares 3 makes you wait. And also, there are huge portions where you're just running through rooms, not solving puzzles, not being chased, not sneaking past anyone. No, just going right or left. Almost every room in the previous games felt like the next obstacle to overcome, but in this game, half the time it feels like I'm just playing a side-scrolling walking simulator. I would be running across the area for ages, wondering if I accidentally broke the game and missed what should have been an encounter with an enemy. But no, it's just designed like that. In a game this short as well, it's a bit embarrassing to pad it out with completely filler rooms. We also don't really interact much with the villains of each chapter. I'd say the most we got was with the baby in the first chapter, but each encounter felt bite-sized. Like you'd either hide for about 20 seconds or get chased for a few meters, but nothing long-lasting. And this is the case for the rest of the game, but with even less encounters. Like, take the supervisor from chapter 2. She's a lot like the teacher from the last game, but with way less depth. With the teacher, it wasn't a very long chapter, but so much happens that it leaves you feeling exhausted at the end. But here, okay, just wait for her to leave, then sneak past her, then wait for her to leave again, then a quick chase sequence with her, and chapter over. Like, what the fuck was that? That would happen in a matter of 15 minutes before, but here, it's stretched across a whole chapter. You spend little to no time with any of these villains. In the next chapter, it takes you a whole hour before you run into one. Before that, it's a complete nothing burger. And it's a shame because the setting is really good once again. They show off amazing moments of scenery in each area, but there's no substance there. I haven't played the previous games in ages, and I can still vividly remember moments like the twin chefs and the Tin Man. But when I was working on this video, I was wondering, like, what even happened on my playthrough? And I guess the lack of horror also contributes to that. Little Nightmares 3 is the least intense and scary game of the series, I think. Firstly because, as I said, half the time nothing is even happening to give you a fright, and also because each encounter is over so quickly that it doesn't even have you on the edge of your seat. As well as that, I feel like Supermassive Games were just copying Tarsier's ideas and slightly changing them around. So what was scary before, like this light hovering over each area as you snuck across, doesn't hit the same because I've already seen that. I think they fall flat with the atmosphere as well. Like in the second game, moments like hearing the hunter walking into the house or seeing these mannequins would leave you unsettled, and I feel like we just don't get moments like that in this game. They don't really hit you with any curveballs to keep you on your toes. Like going back to the mannequins, remember when they would chase after you unless you kept your flashlight pointed at them? I thought that was a really cool and terrifying moment. I'd even say it's the best part of Little Nightmares 2. Tarsier were constantly hitting you with new ideas to keep the gameplay intense. And here, when you get the flashlight, you do absolutely nothing with it. No creative approaches to horror, no moments of gameplay switched up, just walking through a dark area with a flashlight. I couldn't even get scared at the fights because the AI is completely brain dead. It took way too many attempts to beat this section with the bugs because my partner would keep standing right beneath them and getting himself killed. I wasn't nervous because of the game. I was nervous at the thought of how many tries is it going to take for the AI to work for once. The horror is just boring, to say the least. It just recycles previous ideas, and that's not enough in this day and age. As for the story, I mean, there was potential there, but nothing really happens. We get a couple of cutscenes with Lo being trapped in this room and constantly being watched. His only bit of comfort is this doll that manifests into Alone. We watch them travel through mirrors to reach their destination, and in the final chapter, we find his room in the mansion. When I reached this moment, I was really looking forward to what this could lead to, but doesn't lead to anything really. They defeat the villain of this chapter, and in the end, when they go through the mirror to reach their goal, Alone is thrown back out, the mirror smashes, and she's left to die, with Lo on the other side trying to fix the mirror. Now, I was a bit upset when this happened, especially because I was controlling Alone, but it's nowhere near as devastating as Mono being betrayed by Six. There's just not enough development between the characters, and the story is way too ambiguous. I feel like the hypnotist should have played a bigger part in the story, especially since he was likely the person watching over Lo when he was in captivity. We might be able to delve deeper into the story once the DLC comes out, because the base game is only 4 chapters long, and you can beat it in about 4 to 5 hours. It feels unfinished, and it costs €40 to buy this game. Jesus, Mary and Joseph, I thought €30 was a bit demanding for the last game, so you can imagine my reaction for this price tag. And it's an extra 15 for DLC that won't come out until next year. That's the scariest moment I ever experienced from Little Nightmares. It seems that greed has taken over this series, unfortunately. I mean, there was no way Bandai Namco was going to abandon a horror series that was able to sell 1 million units in under a month. But with the price of this new entry, with how short it is, with how obvious it's incomplete, and when they're already advertising the DLC, it's just not the same series that people loved. I hope Supermassive Games and Bandai Namco listen to the criticism, because the last thing I want is Little Nightmares to go down the Silent Hill route and make bad games. But like I said earlier, Little Nightmares 3 isn't a bad game. It's just a ghost of what made the series great. It has its positives, like the art direction is still breathtaking, it still controls well, it did have really one unique mechanic in the final chapter with the doll, but I think it's the least scary entry. The puzzles are simple and restricting if you're not playing co-op, the story is shallow, and it has huge moments of nothingness, and when they finally give you something to do, it's often something you've already experienced in the previous entries. I give this game a 5. While I'm disappointed with how Little Nightmares 3 turned out, one positive is that we only have to wait another while for Reanimal. I've seen the trailers and it really looks like Tarsier is cooking with this new IP, and I can't wait to see what they'll do that they couldn't with Little Nightmares. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, check out the other videos on my channel, and most importantly, subscribe.